People in the U.S. are worried about losing their job right now, and recent college grads are experiencing the challenges of finding their first job during a recession. Wanting to learn how Hawaii residents can best navigate the job market right now, I spoke with career expert Kelly Bass.
Kelly, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So as you know, to start, job search process, especially for younger candidates who are just embarking on their career, what would you tell all of those young adults who are graduating, who've just graduated this past summer and are maybe feeling a little worried about the job market?
Well, the first thing is congratulations for graduating. It's really exciting. I would definitely encourage everybody to start expanding their extracurriculars right away. So you can attend career events on campus, even as a graduate. You can volunteer and you can attend industry conferences or online webinars, and even subscribe to industry newsletters or magazines for free. So you can start to get a taste of what the professionals are actually talking about. And I would definitely start thinking about your skills rather than your experience. And so most recent graduates don't have a lot of work experience, which is understandable. And it's important for them to know that the skills they have hold more weight than when or where they acquired them. And so Forage is a great place to build and practice skills when you're job hunting, completely free. So we're an online platform, as you mentioned, that works directly with Fortune 500 companies like Electronic Arts, Lululemon, Visa, Citibank, and we make their open roles more accessible to new grads by allowing them to actually road test the job at their company. So, this is something that is self-paced and you can do it around existing family commitments or studies, anything that life is throwing at you. And, it's so relevant, Leah, to us in Hawaii, because we typically don't have access to the same opportunities you would on the mainland. And I have a daughter, she's 2.5 years old. She's, Native Hawaiian. And when I think about her growing up and eventually starting her career, I feel like it really shouldn't matter where you live or what school you went to. Everyone deserves economic opportunity. They should be able to, earn a living wage and enjoy their work while they're doing it, especially this next generation of talent that we have here locally that wants to stay home. It's really up to us to make that possible for them. And, one of the students on Forage recently, he put it really well. He ended up landing an internship and a full-time role after that. And he said Forage was like having career binoculars. So I don't know about you, but I definitely didn't know what work was really like when I was graduating. So a pair of career binoculars would have been a pretty amazing invention.
I loved what you said about highlighting your skills versus your experience, because I think, we've all been there where you're looking for jobs and they're like, you need 3 to 4 years experience. You need 2 years experience. You're like, well, how am I going to get that experience if no one's going to give it to me?
Yeah.
So it's really important to think about the skills that you've gained in maybe some different areas that apply for that job that would still be relevant for, that you would be relevant for. But speaking of jobs, and we all hear this, maybe major in something that is going to pay you well or has more job options right now. Are there certain industries that are better than others that you would say to start a career in with the way things are right now?
Yeah, traditionally, the industries that are recession proof are things like healthcare, education, government, and they're typically insulated from rising interest rates or inflation. But we also find that professional services industries have a lot of job opportunities and continue to thrive during an economic downturn. So that would be things like law, accounting, or audit, and of course, technology. Every organization these days has some element of tech. And so, focusing on your technical skill set is a great way to be more employable both now and well into the future.
Should you be applying for whatever's out there, or should you be maybe sticking to things that you actually maybe are qualified for or your skills match?
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's why the focus on skills is really important because there is a gap between what degree you have and then what job you actually have. And so there's a big subset of transferable skills that you want to think about. But, it's really important for both you and for your future employer that you don't spray and pray, as we call it. So job seekers have been conditioned with things like the one-click apply over the past decade or so to just apply to anything and everything, thinking it's a numbers game. But, especially when budgets are tight, quality will always trump quantity. So my advice is to resist the urge to just click and apply and not think about it, and show real interest and real intent. That's the trick to standing out. So, that can feel overwhelming when you're just entering the workforce, but by beefing up your extracurriculars, like we talked about, or leveraging free online resources like Forage, anything is possible.
Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, kind of that one click apply, I feel like that's definitely become more common with a lot of the job sites out there now, where you can put in your resume already and kind of put those skills in there and maybe share a little bit about yourself. You just put the basic info in and you're like, oh, that sounds good. Apply. And then that website will send all of your stuff to the employer. So, I mean, I'm not saying that those sites and platforms aren't helpful, but as what I'm getting from you is that you should still maybe go in and personalize each application that you want to send instead of just being like one.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's why, it's important to think about what you're interested in, because these recruiters need more than just what school you went to and what, degree you have, what your GPA is. They're looking for more signals. Like, do you have grit? Do you have passion? And those traditionally are hard to see on just a one-click resume, right? And so that's why it's important to expand your extracurriculars and really start to hone in on, what your interest is, and think about how your skills apply, regardless of if it's because you've been employed before or had a job in that specific area. Skills are transferable. If you understand project management, communication, that applies to every single job, regardless of what company it's for. So, it's really important to take the work seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously. And I think, there's more opportunities than we think, and it's important not to sell yourself short.
Some people say we're in a recession right now. Some people say we're headed in that direction. Would you say that we are actually seeing people have a harder time finding jobs right now?
We are in what's called the Great Resignation. You have the baby boomers who are all retiring. So there's a lot of roles that are actually opening up. And there's a lot of people searching for jobs, because we also have one of the largest generations coming into the workforce now than we ever have before. So just by sheer number, there is a lot of competition. But what's ironic is that these companies are still thirsty for talent. And it's because they want actually more diversity of thought, more, people from different backgrounds. And so the traditional method of recruiting from a specific school is, kind of they're starting to rethink it. And so that's great news for job seekers, especially those in Hawaii who, have that diversity of thought, have, that diversity of experience in real life that can make these companies more innovative. And, that's what they're really looking for. And so that's why the traditional, what school did you go to? What degree did you have? What was your GPA? Is really only part of the story. And the recruiters know that today. So the extra time you can put into rounding out who you really are and what you really bring to the table. It's not just the typical, like, I got this degree from a specific school anymore. They really want to know who you are.
As what I'm reading from that is don't give up hope. Like, even though things might seem kind of doom and gloom from some people right now, there's still potential out there for you to find something that you actually would like to do.
Absolutely.
Great information that you shared with us today, Kelly. For people who want to learn more and maybe tap into some of those resources that you mentioned, where can they go to learn more about you guys?
Yeah, so I encourage everyone, whether you have a job or not, and you're just looking to explore career opportunities and see what you enjoy, go to theforage.com. So that's theforage.com, and you can browse our free catalog of job simulations from the world's top employers.
Recommendations from Kelly and Forage on how to navigate the job market. Head to our website, kitv.com, search Forage.